Emotional damage.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
Ladies
of gentlemen. These days, man, it could be all of that.
Everything
All right.
you want.
Here's
true.
the podcast. We're back. We miss you guys. Real guys, real talk. Subscribe, like. We are here. That was powerful. That wasn't yelling like last time.
That's still pretty
Close?
loud.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Okay.
loud, dude.
I love how you guys don't know this, but I can't ever see Anthony really
I can see
well.
it a little bit.
And it's just like this weird shot, and I want to see him more than anyone. No offense. And
I am nice.
Nice.
yeah, I know, right?
You can see me a little bit.
Now I
You
can't even
you
look
see
at
a quarter
him.
of me, you know?
Yeah, don't look over here.
Maybe.
It's like a spicy bit of me.
Yeah, I can't even. Sorry,
we need to
Joe,
put up
man.
those
You won't look at me.
folders like when you're taking a test when you're
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah, it's like, hey, can I?
Or
You gonna cheat off yours? Jeff?
Yeah.
those cubicles.
Put your folders up.
Put your folders up. No cheating, y'all. I
Yeah.
want to cheat from me.
What
All right.
about today?
Dude, we are okay. So we've got a few things in the works. We're working on this. Basically, Europe seems to be done with Islam, like completely done. So we've got something in the works there. And what's most recent is this France of all.
Yeah.
This lady, her name's Marie Le Pen.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
Marina,
gonna be. She's a
Marine
I'm sure there's
Le
a
Pen?
very
Marine.
French way to say
Marine.
it.
Le
Yeah,
Pen.
you're right.
Yes.
And she's gonna be. She's run for presidency. She's done that like 4 times, I think.
Mm.
And this time it's gaining a ton of traction.
It
I think
is.
she's in something similar to Congress for us right now. So, Anthony, he knows the stats. What do you think, man? What's
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So she's part of the far-right National Party. And in the last, let's say, 6 months to a year in France, you know, it's taken a big downturn. Like, we've
Yeah.
seen it in
Yeah.
just from the news from America. We can look at it and see how impactful things are over there right now.
It's
and
actually wild.
it is. It's
Yeah.
insane.
it's not unrecognizable?
It's not. It is not what it used to be
No.
by any means, and it was a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was
Yeah,
like
you think like 5 years. I'd say in 5 years, can't recognize it.
you can't. No.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
Traditionally.
So, yes. And we're gonna go over some things. You know, what's going on, like statistics. Like, you want to go right into those numbers right now? You think, or
Dude, we could, man.
it's some crazy
So
stuff.
I think so far she's leading, and 400 plus candidates have dropped out.
Yes,
Is that right?
418 candidates out of the video has dropped out completely from
Man.
the race,
Yeah.
from
Wrecking
both
'em.
sides, because she is leading
Yeah,
massively.
coming in like a wrecking ball.
Wrecking ball, I tell you what. But
Wrecking ball. Le
So
Pen.
what,
Wrecking
is she's with the National Rally Party,
Yeah.
which is
Yes.
like
far,
very
far
right, far
Yes.
right,
Yeah.
very
she,
conservative.
Yeah, she seems to be very bold with her approach. Like, she's just not holding back about things. that
Some of the
she's
stuff she
saying.
said is crazy,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's bad necessarily, all of it, but I don't even know what to say. It's
she's
just
kind of
it's
like the Trump of France.
wow.
In all
I
honesty,
like
just,
that.
Just saying what
I like that.
whatever
She's
she wants to say.
transitioned,
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was a lawyer, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she
she
knows
is,
who
yeah.
her party. She
Mhm.
knows how to cater to them
Mhm.
exactly what they want.
I don't know if there's really that much to cater except her saying we want to do the opposite of what's
Happening.
happening,
destroying
yeah.
this country.
Macron, what is that his name?
Yes, Macron.
Macaroni.
Macaroni, yes.
I never knew how to pronounce his name.
We'll call him Macaron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Macron, yeah.
Macron,
He, I
yeah.
mean, like,
He
it's
nailed
it's
it.
like similar to a lot of other European countries where, like, I think at first it starts out as kindness, like, yeah, come over here,
hmm
you know, stuff's bad
Yeah.
at your place, but
Refugee.
right,
Yeah.
But then they come in and they're like, well, if we're gonna be here, you gotta make all the people that already live here act like
People who have their roots in the country.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
to-
French.
They've got to change. That's wild.
that's
French
insane.
culture is very specific.
Yeah.
Like, they've got their it's a-
Cheese,
yeah, dude.
Croissants.
It's like, yeah.
Seriously.
baguettes,
Not- no joke.
Croissants.
baguettes.
I've had. You
Yeah.
ever had escargot?
Oh, that's
in
really
France.
good.
Actually, a friend of mine, Bennett Logan, he won't care if I drop his name in here, but he goes there all the time. And he was like, hey, man. I was like, hey, can I go somewhere that's like really authentic that no one knows about? And he's like, yeah, man. And we go to this small place and you go
Yeah.
upstairs. The menu's written on a slate on the wall. Anyway,
Yeah.
escargot there.
Escargot, my cargo.
Pretty good if it's cooked right.
Down the
Dude,
504.
If
it
cooked
was
right, it's pretty
it
good.
wasn't cooked actually. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Raw it up.
Well, I think they
No, it was
sear
great.
them like they
It's so good.
they heat them up for
They
for
have
sure.
to.
That yeah,
It was great.
It kills
It,
the bacteria.
it was a little bit. They had some pesto there too, but it was a little.
That's normal.
I wouldn't. Let me put it to you like this: I wouldn't eat it again, but I'm glad I tried it because it wasn't
Yeah.
bad.
I would eat it again.
You would?
In
That's
that
wild, dude. I'd rather have old
Yeah.
gator tail.
when it's like, hey, this is our signature thing. I had duck there too.
yeah,
Dude,
Oh, duck's amazing.
amazing.
I actually
Cranberry
don't
sauce
like
on it.
duck, dude.
Duck stuffed with escargot.
Have you had it the right way?
Yeah, I mean,
Have
I've
you
had
had it
duck like 500
cooked?
times. I just don't like
500 times, man.
More than
it.
me.
I don't know
That's
how
a
many
lot of times to have
dude.
something
It's
you don't
just
like,
an
Joe.
exaggerated amount of how many times I've been forced
That's
to
a
eat
pure.
duck.
That's a,
I'd
that's a
rather I
Trump
would
number.
rather have liver than duck.
I can't do liver. It's too irony. Seriously.
I don't have a
just
duck
can't.
of a liver.
Some
Liver of a duck.
a duck's liver.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Hey,
We'll find it.
We're gonna
It's
find
probably that.
Go get me a
good.
But-
duck right now.
All right. Anyway,
I'm gonna go into this statistic real quick. So this is kind of crazy. When I heard this a few days ago, all rapes and general crime
Yeah.
is controlled by 70% of the
I heard that
Yeah.
Islamic
community.
community,
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Islam or Muslim immigrants, I think was the term.
Yes.
70% of rape
Mhm.
in France.
Didn't
Mm.
you
Which is
say
crazy.
or
No, this is
Whoa.
yeah, that's insane.
didn't you say or I heard that they're gonna be carrying guns again because they didn't carry guns before? Is that a thing?
They're
I don't-
mentioning it.
I don't know. They
in the
carried guns when
primaries.
I was there. every
Okay.
time.
They might have changed it.
I don't know. It could
Yeah.
have been. So every time, that was something we were talking about. I've only been there twice.
Mhm.
So it's not like I'm some guy who frequents there, but
I know.
Jump
It's-
on the
and-
Lear, head down
exactly,
to
right.
France,
um,
fly into
well,
Jean Paul.
every time there's like this huge, and I know we have protests, but dude, there's these serious
Yeah.
protests in like very, we'll call it prolific areas in Paris. And I was
Yeah.
like, I mean, Eiffel Tower, there's a garden. Well, there's gardens everywhere, but anyway, near the Eiffel Tower, there's several gardens to the right, dude. Great housing,
Yeah.
and there's protests right there, and it's
Yeah.
loud and it's obnoxious.
Protests
But
are
it seems
everywhere,
it-
every street.
it
Yeah.
actually
That's what's crazy.
seems so coordinated because when we went,
It's Antifa.
they had the
Mm.
they had the
Antifa.
riot
Actually, they're
shields and
already claiming this the big riots after Marine Le Pen.
it was climate for when I was there, but that
Yeah,
was
there was a big thing with the climate.
big.
They
dude.
just
Farmers
they
too.
just protest.
They-
Just
they're
like-
just
Oh, the
bored.
farmers thing. We didn't
Yeah.
even talk about that.
That's
That's a whole
something
other
else, yeah.
thing.
yeah,
But
that was a
with-
big thing with the tractors and the
Yes.
manure.
Dumping manure.
That was
on
a
Yeah.
different country.
Police
Oh, France
station.
too. They
Yeah,
did
that
it.
was
France,
It
dude.
was
That
France,
was
Yeah.
France.
They wanted to
Belgium,
do.
yeah.
It was something to do with taxes or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
product.
Screw that.
Basically, it was gonna. I think they were not getting any money for their produce
Yeah.
due to.
And they wanted to kill all
Other
most
countries.
of their cattle and
That's
destroy
right.
their crops
Yeah.
and like tax
Wow.
them like
That's crazy.
It's
close down
you're
farms
seeing things
like
like this
crazy.
though. It's very familiar. I shouldn't say familiar, but similar to, like the UK. I think I've brought this up before, but like, crime is so bad, like in France and the UK, that like even around the Royal Palace now, like they've got police with like packing M4s and
yes,
stuff,
yes.
like
Yeah.
guarding the Royal Guard,
yeah.
Mm.
like dudes who like have.
Oh,
like,
you're talking about in England?
Yeah, in
Yes.
England, yeah,
No way.
yeah.
I would love to see one of those guys laugh, though. I love those.
They
videos.
won't.
Very
They're like
hard.
Someone said that they
Crazy
get fined
discipline.
for that, but
they
anyway,
don't. That's not true. They
Yeah,
just
it
have
couldn't
such
be.
a heavy. It's like they're
Yeah.
they're similar to the
like the presidential guard.
well
for
that
us.
or the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers.
Oh, those
Yeah.
guys.
like
are
they have a
serious,
very heavy
bro.
discipline. Like a lot of people go there and mess with those guys, but like they're active duty soldiers.
Oh,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
they'll
Like, they're
stab
there
you
for
with
the
that
job.
saber dog
Well, all those guns are loaded.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
they are.
loaded.
That they
They're-
carry. But
yeah.
anyways,
or the horse.
it's just something very similar that you're seeing, kind of all throughout. And I think she's like, you know what?
Enough
do
is
you-
enough.
do you
Or
think-
enough is enough?
I'm not trying to put us on the map like this, but we are real guys, real talk. So, do you think she's just saying what everyone's thinking? That the unsaid things, like we've
Well-
talked into all sorts of things, like the ABC
I don't think it's
community
anything
and
anyone
stuff.
else hasn't been saying though, man.
Yeah,
I-
yeah. This is
On that, to take that. Okay, so one of the things she said, right? She wants to strip anyone who's practicing Islam of their citizenship, correct?
yes, Islam ideology. Yes,
Mhm.
if
Strip
they
'em.
are going
And
to
expel
destroy-
them from France if they
let's say if they're a
Immigrant.
illegal immigrant, or
or if
and if they're an immigrant, they're
refugee.
probably most of them are illegal.
Yeah.
I'm used to that
Yeah.
now.
Well, they're refugees who have been
Heyo.
who have
Yeah.
just stayed.
Yes, exactly. They stay there, and if they get citizenship, she is basically saying if they are on this wavelength, she will strip them of their citizenship,
Mm-hmm.
expel them from the country, and if there's any French citizen who is following this,
Mm-hmm.
they will be punished.
Yeah, they are. She labeled them the enemy.
Be
They
curious
are
to
the
see what
enemy,
the
yes.
punishment
That's a
is.
That's yes. It could be.
You gotta eat pork and read the Bible.
That would be. Well, that'd be horrible.
I
but-
think she's more or less might be saying like, well, if we go to your country, we can't be like Christians or Jews or
Oh, you
whatever.
yeah, well,
absolutely
actually,
cannot.
this is something
you
I
absolutely
forgot.
cannot. You would be,
So this lady,
potentially killed.
I forgot what country it was, like Saudi Arabia.
She's a Sith. She only deals in
Yes.
absolutes.
She went there as her party to go there, and they wouldn't let her into the area without putting on the
Hijab.
headscarf. Yes.
Great.
She refused, walked away, and said she'll never be back.
Yeah.
Who was this?
The lady we're talking about.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I don't think it's. I think
She's just being fair.
Yeah.
you can't have two things mix, and they're trying to force their culture into
Yeah.
these areas that
I
never
think
has had it.
You can if everybody wants to
Get along.
along with it,
You
right?
get
If
along.
it's water soluble and it's water, yes, but oil and
Yes.
water.
I think like
One
Right.
burns.
in
simmers.
the United States, I mean, there's a ton of different religions in the United States, and everybody still goes to work,
Yeah.
and they still go do the same job. Now, I mean, there's a lot more political correctness, but to the same degree,
Dude,
we're
there's
not like
so much of that right now.
we're not
man.
like fist fighting.
There's so much.
maybe
of that.
I don't know. I haven't worked in big corporate for.
Yeah, it's not
Dude.
really in the work. Europe
not-
is I think the hardest case right now because they
Yeah.
are so close
Yeah.
to these areas.
They don't have oceans between it.
Somebody
and
did
they're being
something.
very kind.
They laid out like Florida across the United Kingdom, and it like Florida was
Like,
almost
flipped it.
bigger
yeah,
than the whole.
Yeah, I mean Texas, Ukraine's the size of Texas roughly.
Really?
That's just and it's the largest country in Europe.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
just gives you. Europe
America
has a
will-
ton of
is
people
Europe.
though. They're packed.
Yeah.
They're influential. They've been there forever.
Yeah.
We're kind of a new country, obviously. That's why
Mhm.
we don't have these cool
no, we
buildings.
haven't. We've been here for thousands of years.
thousands. We came here naturally.
Naturally,
I think
we
it's,
mix
it's
naturally.
so random. But the what's that? Curse of Oak Island? Is that what Phil watches?
Yes, Curse of Oak Island is.
So, which I've watched it before. The
Yeah.
craziest thing I saw in there, like straight up, and this is like super random. They found corn etched into this mural
Mm-hmm.
that predated corn being in the New World.
Hmm.
In other words, I want to say, anyway, wherever corn originated from, it could not have been there
Could not
prior.
have been there. Yeah. No.
And I was like, yeah, that's right. Corn, I think, came from North America originally. I don't think it's native to any other country. And because of that, they had a mural of wood that was carved corn prior to when we visited America originally.
Yeah,
which
I
was
mean,
the whole,
the-
maybe there's gold there through the Templars,
It's
etc.
been argued Christopher Columbus wasn't the first person to
Sail the ocean blue.
find America. The Nina, the Mina.
That guy gives the
What is
Pinta
it?
and the Santa Maria.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I
almost
don't
really
know
messed that up.
movies, but I know that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy
very
what's
random,
going
but
on, but
it is.
yeah, that's the corn thing
Yeah.
is wild, but this is also wild.
Yeah.
It's-
That was the connection. They're both very wild. No, really though, that Europe has just been around forever, and it's kind of strange that.
Well, I mean, you look at
now
like friggin' England
done.
ruled the entire world at
Oh,
one
dude.
point, dude.
Yeah.
we give the English a lot of hate, but dude, they
Yeah,
ran it.
They ran the world, then they
And
failed.
France
Then they failed
Mm.
horribly.
during World War One.
They failed horribly. They tried to tax
France. Yeah,
people.
France was on another level. in World
Yeah,
War
there
Tea
was something
tax.
about the tea wasn't good enough. I don't
Something
know.
about tea. I don't know. It was crazy, but
Yeah,
Dumped a
it was
lot of
actually it was
winners and
it.
losers.
I knew
Am
he
I
was gonna
right?
say how much is worth.
I don't
Even though-
know exactly the tax amount that they were trying to. I want to say it was something like 1% that they were trying to raise,
It
and
was
they
low.
Imagine that.
freaked out.
Yeah.
And
But there was no representation for them. That was the big thing.
so everyone's like, well, they just dumped a bunch of tea, but it was like a shipload of tea, and I think the value somebody said at
shipload.
today's times would have been like $15-20 million.
No,
That's
it
a
was
lot
like
of-
the
that's a
highest
lot of
quality.
tea.
Yeah, it was.
They burned it all. Like dumped
Some
it all.
Earl Grey.
Yeah, and they lit the ship
Mm.
on fire.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
Burned it
cool.
all, yep.
They could have just lit it on fire and
or just
saved
drink
a lot
it.
of the
I'm
labor.
just saying, just
I don't know, man. How much does a brick of tea weigh?
I don't
Is it a
know.
brick of tea
Do
or
they
a tile?
do bricks? A tile?
they cut
I
it
don't
open
know.
and,
I thought it was like,
put it on a table. And
dude, I thought it was
Yeah, there's
bags.
a guy getting tea, and he's like,
it's like,
it's like
The original tea bag, dude.
There's a dude
we
like
got him.
getting tea, and he's like friggin' like treating it like it's Coke. He's like, all right.
this is the good stuff right here, guys. I
Oh.
tell you, like just doing
He's
this.
like, all right,
It
this is
tastes
quality
eucalyptus.
East India Trading Company tea right here.
Oh man, it
That's the
really went
real
over
deal.
those oceans.
This
I
is-
tell you.
This is
You're
break
trying to
apart.
cut this with Boston Market gravy.
Oh.
Yeah. So one of the crazy things that she said, which I think I saw a lot of articles on the what we'll call the Muslim population is very concerned about, is she's going to dissolve and shut down all mosques,
Yes.
completely get rid of the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes.
I'd be curious to see how the media spins this on her. Like
She's going to be labeled as
Adolf Hitler.
racist, I'm sure.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that, and what's bad about it, all the protests is happening there. All the crime is by this one group. All right? Even if
I
if
mean,
it's not the
that's
majority.
that's a humongous
That is-
statistic
these are
dude,
real
for that
numbers.
aggressive
Yeah.
crime.
So,
Huge.
and this is
It's,
not
what,
just France.
what percentage of the population are they right now? I would love to know that.
It's growing fast.
Like 20?
Yeah, actually.
20?
probably
No,
higher.
it's more than that. Probably.
So
It's
like
higher now.
30.
Yeah.
How many?
That'd
We'll
be
look
good
it
to know.
up.
I'll look that up.
You know
You
what?
got
We
this,
have
Jamie.
internet.
He's Jamie today.
But no, so this was crazy. I read this last week.
So we're trying to look at you. This
in
whole
the
time.
UK,
Yeah.
some of the small towns are now Muslim majority, like 60 to 70% now majority, which is crazy in that
You
span
know-
of time. Because I'm like, this is
how
that should not be unless they forced
You're right.
immigrants into these locations purposefully.
Hmm.
And then, you have people like in France, a young girl, like I think she's like 21, 22 years old, messaged this Marine Le Pen and said that she can't even walk outside anymore because it's too dangerous.
Well, I
and when
did-
she was younger,
We
she
were
could do
talking
that.
about that video. We'll talk about this in our next one.
Yeah.
But there were some Germans. I think this was Germany, and there were a bunch of immigrants that
It
were
was
clearly
Germany.
was it?
It was Germany,
And
yes.
they literally the cops came to respond to something. I don't know if it was connected, and they literally pushed them out. That it was just unsafe
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because German officers are totally decked out
Yeah, they
with their gear.
It
So
says 4 million to 7 million
4 million what?
to 7 million.
4 to 7 out of what's the population total, and then maybe we do some quick math.
I don't think it's right because it says, oh, okay. It says it's a minority religion in France, followed by
What's-
around 3 million to 5.7 million people, which is around 4 to 8% of the national population.
Right now it's 4 to 7%.
Yeah.
4 to
4 to
7%.
8.
Huh?
4 to 8. 5 point.
Okay, so let's say 8%. Let's go high. Is that right? Am I going high?
So 3 million to 5.7 million, which is
8%.
4 to 8% of the population.
Let's go 8%. 8% doing 70% of these high-profile crimes, rape. Such a very sensitive thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
really,
is
it's one of the worst
crazy to
things.
think about.
That statistic's insane.
That is actually more insane than if that
that's
number
one of
was
the
like
worst.
50. Yeah.
That may be actually the worst
You wanna
cultural
hear-
statistic for crime like
Ever.
that ever.
That's
So-
that's
in
an
any
insane
country.
number.
So
Yeah.
another
That tells you
interesting
something.
thing, it says which Europe country has the most Muslims, and it says Russia.
That's true.
Yeah, I believe that.
11.7%.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
I
true.
did not realize.
They're
that.
all around. Even you have
Southern
Chechnya.
yeah.
They're very Muslim,
Yeah.
which is not part of it. But Russia has a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, that is
all the
actually,
stands.
and it's like it's the kind of Muslims they are, which
Extremist.
means not just that. It's what
okay.
area of the Middle East they're coming from.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
the way they're brought up. Like you have extreme views. Like if you go to UAE, the Emirates,
You're not going to have that.
you're not gonna have anything.
You're
You're,
not
gonna
gonna have
have
that.
what we have
You're
here,
not.
probably better,
Yeah.
right? But
Definitely.
Probably-
if you go to
probably
Iraq,
better. You would have to wear some longer clothing, but
You don't have to. No,
No, you don't have to.
I mean, no, I didn't
Even
mean. I didn't
women
mean. I didn't mean like the women. I mean like most of the time.
Just
I
take my
see
stuff
they're
off and just
wearing.
go in there.
Dude,
I
you
mean, but
should.
it's just like guys go there and they get
that's
the
their.
fit.
That's basically
Yeah,
their.
if you go there,
suit.
you just look cool.
But I
'cause you're
mean,
gonna fit
we
in.
could
Yeah.
fly on Emirates right now.
Yeah,
and what we're
we
in.
should.
and I'm gonna be safe. We're gonna be safe.
Yeah, first
I
class
don't
on a
know.
$60,000
When you see the back of my
ticket.
shirt, I don't know if you would.
Dude,
There's
look,
like a
they're not
Bible
great.
verse on it.
They're good, but no, it's not like if you go to Afghanistan, right? Which we'll talk about another point. But right now, for them, women can't
Ever.
go to school. You know, they can't drive.
Yeah.
People are getting destroyed. Christians are being killed. Like that
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
region where the majority
So
of
you're
Muslims
saying-
are coming from.
Okay, so the people who are fleeing the dangerous regions are fleeing because of the oppression of extreme Islam. Therefore, they're more susceptible to commit these egregious crimes.
Yes,
because
it's
of
their
that.
it's what they're taught. Even though they don't
Because
want.
that's where they're around.
Yes, that
it's
is what
less-
they're around. This is what they
They
believe.
they see. Okay, here's something I said in one of our. I don't know which one it was, but I
Yeah.
said that I have felt this before when I've been staying for a few months in another country, and it's not right. But I'm just being honest. When you feel a little disassociated from them, like if you were to do something that wasn't positive or whatnot to somebody, you would feel less involved and connected to the populace.
Yeah.
So it would feel less heavy than if I did that to someone where we live, right? Where I know the people and I know the language and the culture. I think there's a disconnect when you cannot connect.
There was a dude.
Okay, before we continue, I just looked it up again for a new statistic. In Paris alone, 77% of solved rape cases involved people who did not hold a French passport. 77%.
And lately, that's a
Yeah.
ton of migrants
Yes.
from Muslim-based countries
Yes.
or
I
believe
think
in
it's.
Islam.
I think France is also getting a lot from.
70% of violent crimes.
From, we're going to say Africa?
That is.
Because they are also.
So yeah, South Africans fleeing
Okay,
there
no,
too.
I was thinking,
Oh,
yes.
like white South Africans?
No,
well,
no, no,
just the
That region, yes.
Yeah.
In Africa, South Africa, Nigeria, throughout Africa, and
even
Middle East.
Somalia too.
Yeah, Somalia,
There's
yes, they are
Somalians
coming
in-
But
into
you're
these
talking
countries.
about a lot of places that practice now. I mean, 30
It's-
years ago, maybe
Somalia is
not, but now
heavy.
heavy Muslim.
Yeah,
Oh no, most of them are
population
all
presence.
Muslim.
they
Yeah.
speak
And-
it.
Most.
Yes,
Well, that's who's. It's just.
but
Anyway, yeah.
these numbers, like 70% of violent crimes, are done by individuals who do not hold a passport. That's the wording, but that is immigrants.
So there's this dude that's on
Right.
which is
TikTok.
crazy.
Right.
That's
that-
like
That's.
no wonder she's winning.
Well, that's almost kind of what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
Like where you have this disassociation. You don't have roots here. You can just pop and go.
Yeah.
You don't. You're not looking at like if you throw. This is simple versus trying to make some crazy incriminating thing. You throw trash out a window, right? You do that near where you live, you're gonna feel a certain way about it. Or if
Yeah.
you see someone do it. But if I am in another country, I don't. I mean, it's wrong of me, but I'm not gonna feel like that was that bad.
See, I would be the opposite. I would feel
well, you just said something
way
really,
worse about it because
You're being a bad representation of your
Right.
country, right? And I think the ambassador thing, that mentality is great, but I think if you know that won't be connected. But yeah, you're right. I didn't think about that.
You said something. They don't have roots here, and
No.
I'm going to give an example. Was a few months ago now in New York, a group of immigrants beat up a police officer. You
Yeah.
might have remember
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do
dude,
remember
beat
that.
the mess on them. They
Yeah,
were
and then-
illegal immigrants from Mexico.
And
from my understanding.
then the who is it? Who
Marshals.
Yes. No. In the court, they let him go on bond.
Oh yeah, they went before the magistrate, and
Yep.
then what did they have, their preliminary hearing or just the magistrate?
I
think-
followed it just about that far. I
Okay,
don't- I
the
didn't really
first
follow it a
the
lot.
first court action,
They
Oh.
let him go on bond. I think it was like a $0 bond.
Yeah.
Just let him
low
go.
bond. Yeah.
That happened.
So that would've
quite
been a
bit,
magistrate
though,
law.
But
in New
no,
York
this is
City.
what you're talking about. So they'd have no roots. They did this crime. They were let go. They fled to Mexico.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of them
Back
were caught,
home.
obviously.
They're back home. They did the crime. No issues found.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And that's just one example of, here in the States, but this is anywhere. So it's like,
Yeah, there's that. There's definitely that. This isn't my home. I do like the idea that he was talking about the whole being an ambassador for the country you're in, but like I don't think a lot of people think that way.
I just meant like when I go to somebody's house,
Uh-huh.
like I'm not associated with that house, but I'm still not gonna go in there and make a mess
You okay?
and leave it. Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought you were gonna kill me
Did
when
you
you
see
looked
that
up.
dude on TikTok who like him and his buddies travel to Afghanistan? And they pay like they were like, well, once we pay off, they're from the UK, and they're like, well, once we gave some money to Al Qaeda, we had free passage to just travel and hang out. And they were like eating, and they're like, yeah, if you and the lads want to plan a trip, this is the best place ever. And I'm just like,
Is that where he was going down there and getting like his shoes or something fixed? They were sewing a bag together.
They
I don't know
were
if this is
no,
similar.
like they had to change clothes,
Mm-hmm.
but they were like. it
Were
was
they
just very-
promoting it that it's safe?
Yeah, they were promoting it like it was a very.
It probably could be
No.
for
Yeah.
us if
No,
we did
for,
it right.
For men, it's fine.
We did it
For
right
men,
and
it's
didn't
fine.
go,
It's like
and we were.
the Russian influencers going to
yeah.
North Korea
Yeah.
Mhm.
and saying this is a great place to visit. Come,
Well, I'm
guys.
sure.
It's
I mean,
awesome.
Tucker Carlson said the same thing about Moscow, and I bet you it's true. I bet you in that area it's super clean, no
Yeah.
homelessness.
Yeah.
He's like, and I did like something he said. I know, hold your breath, but it was about how he wishes that we could be like that. Why is San Francisco disgusting?
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, that's a whole other thing. But
That's
yeah,
up top.
it just seems that we are just constantly battling something culturally
Yeah.
that is just is way more powerful than what we're and typically they don't hold the values, and that kind of goes to our crime. A lot of the places that do crime and have all these gun issues where they're killing each other are places that don't care about the gun laws.
Yeah.
The gun laws do not do anything but oppress people who are going to obey them.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Because
You know?
like, and right now in France in particular, like with what's going on over there,
Mhm.
like it's no surprise to me that
Yeah.
she's winning, right? And when is
Yeah.
it? June.
They just had that
7th?
stabbing.
Oh, every
Yeah.
hour.
That
probably.
stabbing
They
of
had
the
one that was
Honestly,
really bad.
probably every
the
hour.
guy
every
that
day.
was the media guy
There was a
Oh yes,
one
that one of the candidates.
and the police officer.
Yep.
the
Can-
serial stabber.
Yep.
That was like he like stabbed like 15 people.
Oh,
Yeah.
where's this at?
This was in France.
Yes.
Jesus, dude.
and it is all
Knives are super deadly. You know that.
Yeah.
One
Oh,
of
yeah.
those.
Yeah, dude, and no one. I don't think they can own firearms unless it's like a
Well, that's what I'm saying.
shotgun.
It's like you can't.
It has to be like a hunting.
You're only
hunting and
preventing the populace that's going to obey, and then if you get
I've
invaded,
always-
you're also out
I've
of luck.
always said an armed society is a polite society. It's always been my motto.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I mean, look at
Hey,
the old
uh-huh.
Western days, huh?
You know what that was?
Tombstone quotes over here.
I love that movie, dude.
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's
a
a
good
top
movie.
tier movie.
yeah.
But I mean, that's pretty much.
He's a man of an educated man, just the way I hate him.
Yeah.
Johnny
Very
Ringo.
nice.
But no, I think this is the first big movement.
Mhm.
Europe, there's a lot of countries that's following.
They will
suit.
follow that. Yeah.
I
think Germany's next,
Yeah,
probably.
Germany's next.
Sweden's a big thing.
So
My neighbor,
Poland.
It's a whole country.
I won't say. Anyway, a neighbor of mine has roots in Sweden. My understanding is he left a while ago because of that,
So every
which
week,
is interesting because he speaks the language,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
every week, 5 to 10 stabbings happen in France from immigrants.
from immigrants.
Yeah,
okay,
from
I was
immigrants,
gonna say.
Muslim immigrants.
Those are
That's
chump-
not
chump
really a
numbers,
lot
but
for-
if it's-
It's not.
But I would like to know how many stabbings happen.
It's between
in
like
general.
3 to 15.
Okay, so
just in general.
Just in
easy.
general.
Is that
Per-
per day?
I don't know what it is. It's just there's no
Because it would be a lot. If
solid
that was per
statistic.
day, that would be ridiculous. But if it's per
Probably it sounded like he was saying per day. I thought he said per day.
per week.
chat, clip that. Let's
Clip
rewind
that? Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
We'll figure it out. But whatever
50,
that was,
yeah.
that was like 35%.
Exactly. That's still a ton,
more
right?
of-
I
And
think any stabbing is one too many, but you know.
it sucks. Yeah. And if-
Depends on who's getting stabbed.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
Caesar got hooked up. Anyway,
Aw,
Caesar, I like his salads.
they're great, man.
great salads.
One of our friends has a good joke about that. But
Oh,
yeah,
we
man.
can't
So
say.
I guess we're probably at the end here.
Yeah, we're.
But
pretty
this
much
was
good, but,
we're watching. Europe's leading the way with this. I don't think that we have we have definitely have an immigrant issue, but
Yes.
we're not as close
Yeah, it's
to
different.
this type of thing.
We're at the
No way.
start of what they've been going through for a long time.
Mhm.
So if we keep at this rate, we're going to be where they're at now.
Yeah.
I
So
think.
Sure.
it's pretty much the easiest way to say it.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
I like
say
that. Go ahead.
No, we're good.
Do it.
No, it's
Is it on topic?
You know you
it
wanna.
was.
Have
I'm gonna
faith
say
in
I
yourself.
feel to some degree we might have kicked it off
Oh yeah.
with the whole
The way we
border
left-
policy and
Oh.
everybody's welcome and why aren't you doing that? We are. And it was this kind of Remember when Trump did the Muslim ban on travel? Do you remember that?
I remember hearing about it. I forgot
Yeah,
what.
so he did.
He
it
did
was a
something.
while ago.
I know he
It
did
was
during
very
COVID, the China
specific-
ban.
It was very specific countries where
Yes,
terrorist
I do remember
extremists
that.
were coming
Yes.
in.
I do.
Yes.
Yep.
And
it was
the-
high threat level countries.
The
Yep.
answer to
Yep.
that was, well,
Yep.
we're going to do the opposite of that, and anybody's welcome. And then I think other countries were like,
And that
oh,
helped.
yeah, like we're going to do that too.
Yeah.
And then now it's like,
You
It's
this,
very
you know
dumb. Yeah.
it's kind of like
I'm not saying everybody that comes from another country is bad, but like bad people find ways to use
Yes.
good people. It's like, you know,
Okay.
wolf in sheep's clothing.
well, it's kind of like you go to the gas station, right? And you've got someone who's panhandling, and they're asking you for money. You have a moment to listen to them. Are they going to be honest? Are they really needing it?
Yeah.
And you get to size them up. That's vetting. That's a very low level vetting that all of us have done.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us have said, absolutely not. They're going to go get drugs with that. And some of us have said, yeah, I don't care if they do, or they can go get chips, right? That's the same thing.
Yeah.
We don't even do that largely. They're not doing it, clearly.
Yeah.
Or you would vet. You can't just be, you want something, vet them. They want something from us, vet them. That's the part of wanting something. You have to,
Yeah.
We don't vet them at all.
No.
Right now, we're not. No, and I don't think they are as well.
we're not vetting anywhere near what
The-
we would consider
And the
it
thing is,
to actually be effective.
the illegal immigration in Europe is very different than what we have. We have people from global, like we have everyone coming
Everyone.
here. Really bad
Everyone.
people, not many families at all, not many kids. I mean, it's like not many.
Sometimes when you start seeing, when you start seeing numbers and it's like military age men coming over by
Like
themselves.
50 of them,
Yeah.
you know, just
Mm.
walking in a straight line straight to us.
That one we're showing like literally 50 something guys walking through, and they're all African American, or well, they're African, and they're all asking where their country is. And they had some guys, I guess, from India. They looked like it, and they all said the same country. Once they heard the first guy say the country, they all were the same
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Like-
there's
but they have
I'm
more
from
of the
Ecuador,
ships.
Yeah.
and they all
No,
were from
right,
Ecuador.
yeah,
No,
that's
you're
what I
not
was
from
gonna say.
Ecuador, dude.
They got people coming off the boats. You know, they don't really come across the land often. They're more just on boats.
Yeah, well,
to
it's
the beach,
harder to get here.
50 of them.
You can
you
get
know.
to South America so much easier, and then you can get to
No
America.
one wants to stay
That is the way.
down. Yeah, that's the thing.
You're not
That
going to
is
do it through
true.
Canada easy, and it's
No.
hard to get up there anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a filtration process.
And it's all.
man.
It's mostly happening because of Mexico. They're letting it happen. They're letting all these people walk through their country
This
without
is-
any law.
This is simple. We call this security hardness, and it's when there's 20 houses right in your neighborhood, let's just say, and one of them has their front and rear lights on for their house. At nighttime, it's very unlikely that that house is going to get targeted,
right.
but the other ones, absolutely.
That's
So,
what I
and
do
why aren't we
before-
doing that?
That's what I do when I get home. I turn both outside lights on.
You
Yep,
get
I do too. Yep,
hardness.
always.
One of those things, big dog.
Is that
I'll tell
it?
you guys a funny thing about homeless guys one time.
Please.
So
Do it.
my uncle was walking through New York's Manhattan with my dad, and I don't remember where they were going because I wasn't alive yet. But
That sucks. Don't you
one
hate
day.
that, man?
they were. My dad told me that this guy said to my uncle, was homeless. He was like, "Hey man, you got like a couple bucks, like in a burger," and like completely out of character. My uncle was like, "All right, man, here you go," because he didn't do that. You know.
Yeah.
He just wasn't like that. And they were coming back the same way a couple hours later, and they saw the dude with like a bottle of wine
Yeah, that was
leave it.
after the burger.
leaning up against the thing, and my uncle went up and just took it from him.
Oh,
and
good.
he's like, if you would have told me it was for booze, I still would have gave you the money. Threw it, poured
And
it
then he's
out.
like trying to point at the Burger King
He was-
wrapper on the
he was
ground.
like, well, no, he didn't have any food. He was just,
Yeah,
he
I
was
was-
just drunk. But
Yeah.
that always made me laugh.
That is
That
fun.
story, dude. He was in my
Vetting
for
people,
sure,
man.
dude.
Vet
Yeah.
'em.
He didn't
Go
do
buy them the burger.
Buy them the burger.
I
and
offered a
watch them
guy
eat it.
in Tampa one time. We have played video games online with this person.
Yeah, gotcha.
Me and him and another couple guys were in channel side at Hooters channel side, and this dude
Classy
came
place.
up. Yeah, it was actually a sweet spot, dude. So the cruise ships come in.
Oh,
so it's
that-
pretty.
that
it's
is
pretty.
cool.
It's pretty.
I've never been to
happening.
one, so.
Couple good hangout spots. Anyway, so we're there having a burger. Guess I'll settle for the burger. And this homeless dude walks up. He's like, "Hey guys, you got any money for me to get some food?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't have any, like cash, bro. If you come around here, I'll buy you a burger. You can hang with us."
Did he say no?
And he was like, "Fuck that! I want the money." And sorry, Anthony.
All right, man.
Sorry,
We don't
dude.
need
Yeah.
monetization.
I'm
It's fine.
sorry.
Not yet.
You just
You actually killed the Lego man.
Aw, it's all
poor
gone
guy.
now. He got.
That's
Anyways,
I get
but
what
that's
you're
how a
saying.
lot of people do
Yeah.
that, dude.
Yeah.
They're really
yeah.
like that.
Well,
but
and
anyways,
then that you vetted.
yeah.
You vetted that guy.
So I'm just rambling, but that's that was a good one.
Makes sense.
And see you on the next one.
See you, dudes.
That was
All right.
good.
See
All
you
right,
next
we
one.
did this. Like, subscribe, comment, throw some stats in there if we missed it, if we got it right.
If we got it wrong.
We got it wrong.
No hate speech.
Leave them off.
Deuces.
All right. See you guys.
Later.